Alright, I have this attachment tiller. It's a Briggs & Stratton 5 horsepower motor. Runs only on carb cleaner, so we'll be showing you how to clean the carb today. First thing we're going to do, we got to take the air breather cover and all the filters off. Alright. Let me get this rubber hose out of the way, which it just pulls out a valve cover, which I'm going to put it back into there because I'm going to leave it there. So right, you know it's there and you won't lose it. Okay, before we go any further than that, if you got fuel shut off, shut it off. If not, then get some crimpers to crimp that your line shut so it doesn't drain gas out. These two bolts down here, yeah, right here are 5/16. Make sure you go the right way. Alright, we got those off. Now this plastic piece should just come. Oh, there's one up here, a bolt. That just comes off there. The bolt is the same. They're all the same size. Don't lose your gasket that sits there. Very important to have that. Set that aside. Next thing we're going to do is get the gas line off, which you need a pair of pliers to get your hose clamp off. Twist your gas line a little bit because you want to make sure you get to break the seal, because that is all plastic right here. You can easily break it. And just pry up on it. Just be, like I said, that's plastic. And if it's brittle, it's going to break. Next step is these two bolts. They're 10 millimeters. Don't lose your bolt. So I got a drain pan set here. I'm gonna drain the gas out of this tank too. It's old inside. So, all right, now carburetor should just come off. Just go slow because you do have gaskets that can rip. All right, once you get it, you want to turn it. Sort of that rod, governor rod, come off in your little spring. Don't forget that. Just like that. It's nothing hard to do. Just be careful you don't bend that. That's very important. All right, while I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on and let this gas drain out, if there is any. I thought there was very little, but I guess there isn't. So that's good. I may flush that out. Alright, now we're ready to clean the carb. Alright. We need to take this bolt off here, which is a 1/2-inch wrench. You can use a socket, however you need to. But we need to get this bolt off. And yes, it's going to leave a mess because there is gas in there. You see. It's been sitting for 10 years, so I got to really clean it real good. So you probably want to keep some rags around. And it smells like paint thinner, so yeah, it's pretty nasty. Trying to get everything off. Next we want to get this off. which usually your fingers would do it. If not, just get your little small needle nose pliers. Don't forget that there is a needle that's on your float. You don't want to lose that. And if you use any carb cleaner, do not spray it inside this, because there's a rubber gasket down there, and normally when you spray into there, it eats it up, unless you have a new one. So we're going to take this gasket off, because if you spray that, it expands them, and then they're junk. Normally, I can reuse them if I'm careful, so just be careful what you do so you're not messing it up. So now I'm going to just go ahead and spray them through in every little hole. Make sure they're all working right. And wear some gloves and some eye protection, because this stuff can shoot or spray you in the eye. And it could take it out, and it hurts if you do get in your eyes. You want to spray really good, but like I said, don't get it down in there. So I'm trying not to. I usually, for stuff like that, I have a little, it's like a toothbrush kind of deal that's got wire bristles on it. And I'll just go ahead and scrub this down so you know it doesn't break down and eventually go in your carburetor and plug up your jets. Alright, we're going to take the air and blow through all these little holes. That helps blow through if there's anything else in it. With that pressure, it should blow right through it. If there's anything in them jets. Alright, now we want to definitely spray in through these holes. Which, remember, there is a couple holes to the side. Wear your gloves, safety glasses. Because, yeah, this is plugged up bad. So we're going to get a little needle. Needle works wonders through these holes. If these ain't cleaned out, the motor won't run without that being cleaned. So do a really good job on it. Make sure it blows through both holes, which is doing that now. And the same thing, we're gonna blow through that with the air, just to shoot through there. Just make sure, see how the air's got blowed some more stuff out of there. And if you don't get that out, obviously it'll just plug up, and then you have the same problem again. So make sure you clean it really good. Alright, it looks like it's pretty good now. Yeah, that's pretty clean now. So we're going to set that to the side. We're going to take our needle off that float. It looks pretty clean. Now we're going to spray our float. Get any excess stuff off of it that shouldn't be on there. Alright, this really is bad, this bowl. So, like I said, I got a little wire toothbrush kind of deal. I just scrub it around. Get it cleaned real good so it doesn't go through your carb again. You see, you don't want none of that going through your carburetor. And don't forget, there's a gasket that goes around this. You don't want to forget about that. So I'm gonna spray this down and get it really cleaned. All right, I got the bowl pretty cleaned out, as you see. That's pretty clean. All right, now we're gonna start putting things back together. So we're gonna put our needle back in our float, which all it does is slide right through that groove there, and make sure it goes in that hole. Now always lean it sideways or backwards so you know the point of your needle don't fall out. I'm gonna put the little rod back there. So now that's done. Our gasket around the bowl. And if your gasket's got any crack in it, any one of them, change them out. Because all it's gonna do is want to leak on you. So just clean it out or change them and be done with it. All right. Sometimes I fight with this stuff, and sometimes, you know, it just goes like it's meant to. So, you know, gotta have patience. Sometimes this stuff gets the best of me, and I gotta walk away. All right, make sure you tighten that really good. Because if not, if you don't get it tight enough, your bowl will leak. Now we're ready to put it back on. All right, now we're gonna get our carburetor put back on. I already flushed the tank out, so you probably want to make sure you do that, just to make sure there's no old gas or anything in it. As you see, mine's still dripping a little bit, but I flushed it out. And you just use new gas, dump in it, and have a drain pan in it where it dumps into. Go ahead and get this spring and the governor rod put back on. Put it in. You just gotta play around with it. It can fight you sometimes, but when there's a will, there's a way. And always make sure your bolts start in. You know, you don't want to be cross-threading nothing. It's not a good idea. Because motors ain't cheap to replace a motor or a head on these motors. Alright, we're going to go ahead and tighten them down. Alright, that's tightened down. We're going to get our gas line put back on. Get our clamp put back on. All right, before I put anything on, I put some gas. We're going to see if it's going to start. Because if it doesn't run right, it's easier to do now to take back off to clean than when everything's back on there. Which it runs pretty good. So we're going to head and get everything put back on. All right. Remember, there's a gasket there. So we're going to put the choke towards, we're going to choke it all the way. Oh, darn it, my gasket fell out. Like I said, remember, make sure your gasket don't fall off. Make sure your gasket stays in line, which there's two grooves that gasket falls into, you know, to stay in line so you get your bolts put into your carb. Alright, we're going to go ahead and tighten them down. Alright, now underneath here, this goes right in that hole. It's just pretty much just it should slide up in there, which it did. You shouldn't have no problems. It should just go right under there. Air filter, put back on. And we're going to put our cover back on there. And there it is. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.